Welcome back to Valorant News. Today we're going to be helping you find your perfect crosshair for Valorant. Stay tuned. Now in this video I'm going to be helping you decide on a perfect crosshair for you. Everyone will have their different crosshairs, so I'm going to be helping you and guiding you through the crosshair settings and helping you decide which is your favourite and how you want to customize it. As you can see on my screen, I have mine. This is the one that I've been working with for the past few days and it seems to be the best for me. So I'm going to be helping you decide what's the best for you, and I'm going to give you the settings for my crosshair as well. First of all, you want to open up your settings and go over to the tab which says crosshair next to controls and video, and here you basically have every setting in one. The first line has your crosshair color. I stick with green, but you just want to go through these colors and see which is best for you. Maybe it's a color you prefer, or it's just one that shows up a lot more visibly on every part of the map. That is why I recommend. I've used green since CSGO, so I use green now. It seems to be the best color for basically every map, so I recommend with going green if you can't pick. Now outlines are the black bits around my crosshair. You might not be able to see it as visibly, but if I turn this off, you can see a massive difference on my crosshair. Now I have the opacity at 0.403 because if you have it at full, it's really obvious and it doesn't look as nice, and I just found it a bit more distracting than it would be if it was at about 0.403. The outline thickness just obviously shows how thick the outline of the crosshair will be, so if you have it big, then yeah, it doesn't look as good and you can't really aim as well with the thick crosshair. So I recommend sticking with 1 or maybe 2 if you like it that thick, but I'd normally stick with 1. The center dot is literally a little dot in the middle of your crosshair, but for some reason every time I've used this on CSGO and Valorant, you can see it's not really in the middle. It's like a bit off to the side, so I don't really recommend using that anyway. It does just take away the gap. I can't really hit shots as well as if you didn't have it, so I recommend just turning that off. It's no point in it. Fade crosshair with firing error basically will just make the crosshair fade out and go lower opacity when you're not shooting. No point in it, just keep it on full. This saying next, show spectated players crosshair, I really recommend to keep on. Just because if you see your teammates crosshair and you really like it, then you can maybe manipulate it and then have a crosshair that you like. And that's just because you're looking at your friend's crosshair. I've done this a couple of times. I see someone in my match with a really nice crosshair. I copy it to see how I play with it. If I don't play as well, I'll go back to my old settings. But I recommend keeping this setting on if you're a new player and still are struggling to find a crosshair. Now inner lines I don't fully understand, but I don't see why you need it either, because if I turn all of these up so you can actually see it, yeah, I don't really get what that is. So I'd probably just turn it off if I was you. Also, then the 2 settings underneath that you could turn off as well. Now outer line is literally the crosshair itself. I have mine at outer line opacity 1, which is probably what you want to do. That's literally the main crosshair, so you want to keep that at full opacity. Outer line length is about 5 because that's probably like the best one to do for my settings. Outer line thickness, which is literally how thick it is, I want to keep it 1. Outer line offset I have at 0 just because I have another setting on. And then the other 2 underneath it is movement error, which means every time you move your crosshair gets bigger. You don't really want that on, it just distracts and it gets away from the accuracy. And then firing error, for me, I personally like it. I have that turned on obviously. Every time you shoot the crosshair gets bigger, but it allows you to know whether to stop spamming your weapon or whatever because your accuracy is going to be less, and it just, I don't know, there's something about it, I really like it, and it just allows me to be more accurate with weapons than I would be with it off. It just tells me when I should just stop holding left click really. But yeah, if I had that off, the offset will be literally touching each other. So if you don't want firing error on, then you probably want it around 4 to 5 maybe for offset. But if you have that on, stick it to 0 and turn firing error on. And hopefully you now understand all the settings for your crosshair. As I said, the best way of finding your favorite crosshair will be to have show spectated players crosshair on, just because that means you can see other people's and really get a grip of what other people are using and see if you want to use theirs as well. I'll give you a quick example of the firing error offset feature which I have turned on. As you see, the more I shoot, the bigger it gets, so it means if I'm shooting too much, I know and I can just start tap firing. Yeah, that is everything for this video. I hope I've helped you find a really good crosshair, and I hope you do just spend some time going into the practice modes here, just practicing with the crosshair, which you really like, and then you can get better with the game and get better with your aim. With that all said, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you want new Valorant news, leaks, tips and tricks. And also leave a comment down below of maybe your settings of crosshair, because other people are looking to find their perfect crosshair right now since the game has only just come out. So please help some other people out, leave your crosshair settings down below, or maybe leave a quick description of what you have, And yeah, with that said, I hope you have a good day and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you and goodbye.